thank you for joining us on the Best Shows of Branson podcast, where we take you behind the scenes on some of Branson's best shows. Now, welcome your hosts.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew Boyce.
I'm CJ Newsom.
And welcome to this week's episode of Branson's Best Shows, direct from the Americana Theatre here in Branson, Missouri. We are so thrilled to be joining you direct from Branson, once again, bringing you Branson's Best Shows. We are joined today by our friend Terry Wanye Sanders.
I know him.
This is really great because you guys both do a show here together, CJ Newsom's classic country and comedy, and y'all have known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a wonderful history. Matter of fact, unbeknownst to us, I grew up in Mountain Grove, Missouri. She was from over there in Rogersville.
Yes.
That's right. And then, of course, I've been in Branson for a long time. All of a sudden, she comes to town, and there's that cute little blonde girl, and things kind of evolved from there.
Well, I never thought we would end up in a
Ever.
show. This was
Ever.
part of my dream because I'm the country and he's the comedy.
That's right.
So it works out well.
Ta-da!
So I'm new to Branson. If you listen to our first episode, I'm new to town. I've been here for quite I think 3 seasons now. So I am just getting to know Terry. So I really want to know what really got you into entertainment. What bit you by the bug? Because I started pretty young as a kid.
Yeah.
Were you the same way?
Same way, honest to goodness. I came here with my family in 1965.
Wow.
All right. And we could afford to come out here to go to Silver Dollar City because at that time, Silver Dollar City was free. You paid $1.25 to go into Marvel Cave, honest to goodness. And so we got to Silver Dollar, my Grandpa Lee, Grandma Jewel, my mom, Barbara Jean, and my brother Leland Ray. And I said to them right then, this is where I want to be. And of course, they all laugh. Oh, he's just being a silly kid. But I knew in my heart, I fell in love with Silver Dollar. And I said, this is it. Then that night, we went to a show called The Shepherd of the Hills. Boom, same thing. These people on stage, and there's this funny character called Ollie. I said, I want to be a part of this. Mm-hmm. Again, the family laughed. That's okay. Laugh. That's going to be my job later on. And then we went to a show the next night called The Bald Knobber Show. Same thing. I want to be in a music show like those guys and do what those guys did to make people laugh. And so as I grew up, I started talking to people in the business. How do you do it? Why do you do it? All this. And the number one thing, and this is so important, they mostly, almost 98% of them said, get your education first. So went to college, got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting and theater. And even before I got the degree, I was working in Branson. I started here in 1980 at Silver Dollar City.
Yeah. And I think a lot of our viewers want to hear more about that. I mean,
How
was Silver Dollar City back then?
My gosh. Back then, everything was much smaller. We had Highway 76, 2 lanes. There were no back roads. You had to go on 76. And we used to call it the world's largest parking lot because people would be in line to go out to Silver City for hours on end, 6, 7 hours in traffic waiting to go out to Silver City. It was crazy back then. And so everything was new, infant, if you will. We only had about 5 shows in Branson. Now compared to over 100 plus shows.
Yeah.
And, the variety and all that. And so it was very exciting to be a part of this. And of course, I'm living my dream. I'm working at Silver Dollar City. Now, there was a man at Silver Dollar by the name of Lloyd Heller, also known as Shad. He was our blacksmith. He was also, a performer. And he watched me at Silver Dollar and said, I like what you do. I like your style of comedy. I'd like to have you be in my nighttime show called, it's at the Corn Crib Theater called The Toby Show. So that was my very first show. And from that moment on, 1980 on, I've always had multiple jobs. And so, again, it was just so much fun to see all the newness of everything and try to be a part of all that right there. And, of course, now here I am 43 years later, still with Silver Dollar City. And, oh, my gosh, and see how it's evolved. Because back then when I first started, $1.75. I was paid $1.75 an hour. Holy socks. So now, after 43 years, $2.75. I'm just kidding.
You're going up in the world.
Woo, big time,
That's
baby.
a Snickers.
Isn't that funny? But yeah, now I think, how did I survive back then? But back then, gasoline was like 35 cents. Holy moly. So for me to see the evolution, the changes, it has been phenomenal.
Yeah, well, and you've experienced so much. What do you think your favorite thing is, looking back?
Right. Oh, my goodness, a favorite thing. Just being a part of the Branson scene and to see it grow because, we were Branson to begin with, known as, of course, the hillbillies, the country music, and that was it. But as time went on, it started changing. The Bald Numbers had all these different brothers. One of the brothers broke off. His name was Bob May. and he created his own theater called the Bobolinks. And he was the first person to really invite megastars here. Loretta Lynn, let's see, Ronnie Millsap, people like that. That is how we started getting these stars here, because we were singing their music, but all of a sudden they came here, they thought this was a great place. And then, of course, Roy Clark came in with the Celebrity Theater, and of course he invited all of his friends here. Mel Tillis was down here. And honest to goodness, 1990, 60 Minutes interviewed Mel Tillis. And he says, they said, Mel, do you like Branson? Yep. Do you do pretty good, Mel? I make $1 million a month. And he was. Now, a lot of people think, well, I'll do that too. I'm as big as Mel. And they weren't. But, you know, it was this amazing thing. But as soon as he said that, Branson boomed. People came here, thousands more than we ever anticipated. Also, the stars came here. They wanted to make $1 million a month too. And to see this boom and all that change, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't just country music. We had Andy Williams move here. Oh my gosh. Now this is getting exciting, because he was, you know, of course, an Iowa boy, but, you know, Los Angeles, New York. He came down here, his brother, Don, he's the one that got Ray Stevens down here. And then, of course, Ray and, of course, Don said, hey, Andy, you got to come down and check it out. And so he came and checked it out. And he said, this is the place for me. Look at the demographics. And so he hired an architect. They built a real theater. Now, before, and this is not a slam about anybody here in town. It's just, what do? This was all new. So we would build these metal buildings, got some folding chairs, and we built a stage, and we did a show. Well, Andy, being in the business all these years, he said, let's do it the right way. Beautiful facility. Oh my goodness, the acoustics are just amazing. And his dressing room, 1,500 square feet for a dressing room. Hello. So all of a sudden we started changing and really upping that bar. Sure. And that has been probably my favorite part about Branson, to see where we were, where we are, and where we're going. And I'm still excited about, you know, what the future holds for Branson, because we are always changing, just like life. We're always evolving, and that's what I love about what we do here.
And you're still at Silver Dollar City.
Still at Silver Dollar. No plans to ever leave. Oh, yes. Matter of fact, now, okay, this is exciting, too. I play 5 characters a day right now, okay? Let's say I start off as the time traveler. That's right there, Alexander Osterman. Then we have, of course, Colonel Paisley Aloysius Parnell, the banker of Silver Dollar City, right down here in downtown Bug Tussle. Then, of course, we have Mr. M. Balmer, the Undertaker from Jackson's Funeral Parlor. I have a wonderful layaway plan. And then we have the Warden. That's me, WP, the Warden, right here, keeping everything safe on the streets of Silver Dollar City. And then I end with Doc Harris, the crazy German inventor of the Wildfire roller coaster. Isn't that exciting there, Matthew? You got to ride with me? Oh, your hair will be sticking straight up like this. Yeah, so there you go. Now, come next month, I think it is, oh my gosh, next month, I will add 2 characters to that.
Wow.
Yes, we'll do Ichabod, that's right, Icky, the scarecrow, and he scares the thunder out of people. It's very exciting. And sometimes they say things they shouldn't say in front of their grandkids. And so we'll do that. And then also we will have Pumpkins in the City, which is very exciting too, where we have, it is a pumpkin festival. I'm excited. I'm speechless. Anyway, so yeah. And so I will be the king of pumpkins. That's King Casper. And my lovely wife, Lumina. Yeah, so
and I was going to ask you, what's your inspiration for these characters? I mean, like, do you get the ideas based off of some of the festivals, or
all of the things? A good question, because like some have already been established. The Undertaker has always been at Silver Dollar City. Whenever they would do a street show, they'd usually end up with someone getting shot, and so the Undertaker would come out with a wheelbarrow that says ambulance or hearse, as case may be. And so,
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we always have the Undertaker, and then of course many of our characters we want to base them on the rides, like Alexander Osterman. Of course, he is the time traveler. Really, I'm a clockmaker by trade, but a time traveler for fun. And it's a great thing if you do time travel. Words to the wise: do not go to 2020. And if you like dinosaurs, because many children do like dinosaurs, do not go to the Jurassic period. Oh, they're so loud they hurt your ears, and they smell like my mother-in-law. So yeah, and so some of the characters are based on the ride, so it gives them a chance to promote that ride, and also each character goes to those rides to help, push that. And if the lines are long, that's part of my job. I'm what they call an image character at Silver Dollar City. There are 3 of us. There's me, there's Miss Whoopsie Daisy, and James Roach. And so that is our job, to walk the park 8.5 hours a day, entertaining folks and taking care of business. If we have, sometimes we have a domestic dispute. Someone's hot and mad, tired. They spent too much money on this. The kids dropped the funnel cake. And so we try to diffuse that. We're also first responders. So if we have a situation, we're right there to be hands-on to help out. Lost kids, lost adults, everything. And again, but also it is all about entertainment. The whole time you're always on. And that's how I've been able to hone some of my comedic skills, is to have that one-on-one. No two situations are always the same. And so my background, I studied some of the greatest people in the business, one of which was Mr. Paul Lynn. Oh my goodness. Paul Lynn, every time you saw him, especially on Hollywood Squares, before he said anything, you're already laughing because he was that good. You knew whatever came out of his mouth was going to be hysterical. And so I thought, oh, that's how I've got to be. And so I've tried to come up with not just, well, howdy, folks, how are you? Oh, howdy, folks, how are you? Howdy, folks. No, you got to change that every time, something different. And I've learned also about, you compliment someone right off that. Hey, I'm glad you, whoa, that's a great purple shirt there. I like that. Where'd you get that? Yeah, did you get that with a free bowl of soup? You know, that type of thing. So you break the ice, you like that, make them laugh, and then you've got them hooked, And so that was the whole deal right there. So that's how you learn about timing, just like you guys with this singing, or, whenever you do the impersonation of Elvis, or, trying to do the Patsy Cline things, you learn those things. How does that character grab you and hook them? Because I'm not Barney Fife, you're not Elvis, but if you can grab that essence and convey that to the audience, we're doing our job.
Right. When you transitioned into live shows, so out of $7 City into other theaters, how did you develop your personal character? So I know you have some great, like Grandma Beulah, and I know you do a great Barney Fife.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So what gave you the idea to do these things, and what really brought you into the shows?
Right. Okay, the first nighttime show was, of course, at Corn Crib Theater, and it was the Toby Show. So I I got to play a character called Zenas, me, and wonderful. I was trained by the best, Mr. Wayne Milnes. Wayne Milnes was hands down the best comedian ever in this entire area, if not even further than that. Our acting professor, we had the same acting teacher up at SMS, now MSU in Springfield, Missouri. He said that he truly is the Charlie Chaplin of the Ozarks, because Wayne's timing was impeccable. And you couldn't touch him. No one was near his caliber, that level of comedy, but he was always on. I mean, Wayne never broke. Even at the Employees Lounge at $7 City, he would not break character, and we're howling. We couldn't even eat. Time's up because we got to go, but we've been watching Wayne the whole time. Man. And so you learn from people like that. But then at Corn Crib, Shad and Molly Heller, they would have a couple nights off. So I was asked to create my own character to fill in for him. So I created Ogden Sagmore. It was just a sad sap character. Everything was horrible. I got up this morning, I picked up my shirt, the buttons fell off. I grabbed the doorknob fell off. I grabbed my briefcase, the handle fell off. I've been afraid to go to the bathroom all day. And so that type of character. So that's how that started right there. Then, terrible. And then 3 years into that, I received a phone call from a friend of mine, Dan Embry, and he said he's going on vacation to, of course, I think it was Brazil. He said, would you fill in for me over here at the Wilkinson Brothers? At that time, they were the newest, hottest show in Branson, Missouri, Wilkinson Brothers. And so I said, sure. And so he was doing a character that he had also used at $7 City called Melvin McCoy, the chicken thief. Well, I played that character also at $7, And so I went over and I filled in for those 2 weeks. Well, during those 2 weeks, he got a job offer at a new dinner theater, first dinner theater in Branson called Banjo's Dinner Theater. So he left the Wilkinson Brothers. I became the resident comedian. And they said, Terry, the Melvin McCoy character, no, come up with something else. So I thought, well, how can I have something, a funny name? Because that was always the angle, the hook. And so Homer Lee, not Homely, but Homer Lee. Also, my grandfather's name was Lee Sanders, so there was a little, personal touch there. And that's how Homer Lee evolved. And, of course, he's a maintenance man. He's doing everything, but also he wants so badly to be on that stage. And so every time he had a chance to come out there, do something, he was there. Homer Lee's doing this, Homer Lee. And that's how we get variations of Homer, like we had his sister, Homer Lee's lovely sister. Oh, my. And then we had Homer Deany, the magician, because as a kid, like you, Chris Newsom. I think you know of Chris Newsom.
Just
nice
barely.
Guy. Yeah. Same thing as a kid. I studied magic. I wanted to be a magician. Of course, I did all the things in Mountain Grove, the Kiwanis Club, the Lions Club, little things like that. And so that's how that evolved. But also, when I first came to Branson, I saw comedians just doing one character. And I said, well, that's okay, but I want to do lots of characters. I want to keep these people on their toes. How could it be the same person?
Nice.
But I also knew that you had to believe in it. You had to do the acting skills, change completely. And so therefore we got Grandma Beulah evolving out of that. I always loved Joan Rivers. Oh my gosh. I remember, I think 72 was whenever the light turned on in my mind. This is the woman to watch. This is the comedian because she is relevant. She's right there on top of it, and she's so funny. And her caustic wit was matching a lot of mine because I made a lot of things in common. And so I thought, okay, so I did her voice for a long time. Even at Corn Crib, I did this pseudo impersonation, And finally, when after the Wilkson Brothers shut down, I got a job with the Brashler Music Show. And of course, they loved my voice as Joan. They said, why don't you do Joan? And so sure enough, we went and bought a costume or the dress. Matter of fact, go to a dress store. We find this lovely dress. It was the right size. I'm a size 10, a petite 10. So are my shoes, size 10, 10. Anyway, but the dressmaker was called Melissa. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is an omen because Joan's daughter is Melissa. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So I've always gone with my gut, and also those moments like that where you kind of go, no, this is a gut thing. This is meant to be. And of course, and we've done Joan ever since. Now I can't get rid of Joan. I have people who come to the show. Please tell me you're doing Joan. Please tell me you're doing Joan because I brought these people to see you do that. You do that the best or whatever.
Yeah.
And so so that's great praise right there that you're doing something right, as you well know.
Because like for years, being a Branson local, I was always told, Joan Rivers came to town.
Right.
For years, many people thought that Joan Rivers regularly traveled to Branson.
Came down to Branson. Oh, yeah, and we got that a lot. Honest to goodness, we would have people call the theater and say, okay, we had an argument last night, me and my wife. Was that the real Joan Rivers or not? Because I say it was. And so therefore, that tells you right there, I did my job.
Yeah.
Did my job.
Oh, yeah.
But now Joan has a personal side to her. I'm a big autograph collector. I've got probably 6,000 autographs. And, of course, Joan was one of the top people I would always write to, and she was always good about responding. And so my brother worked for ABC, and so he would go to the conventions, and so they would talk, and she goes, oh, yes, Terry said, your brother, he writes to me. And so how's he doing all this? So we had this wonderful relationship that grew. And so Joan, caustic, harsh on stage, just cuss like a sailor, but off stage, the biggest heart in the world. I mean, she was amazing. And so with our relationship, whenever my mother became ill with cancer and it was terminal, Joan, we set things up. She called and talked to my mother, and she had done her homework. She said, Barbara, now what kind of cancers? Have they done this treatment? Have they tried this yet? That type of thing. And so it was just wonderful. And Barb, is there anything I can do? She said, take care of my boys. Whew. And so whenever my mom passed, she sent this beautiful note, condolences and all that, and she always made sure that Leland, my brother, and I, are you guys doing okay, that type of thing. And so then when my brother passed away, same thing, beautiful note, life is so unfair, your brother was too young. It was just incredible to see that side of her as well. And so to me, that's part of my job. I owe her so much because through her, I did her here to make it real and make people believe I'm her. And so this is my way to say thank you, Joan. And I make sure everything is just right. The makeup, everything, because Joan was meticulous. That's who I have to be. So and I think that carries through to the audience. They see, they believe, wow, although she's dead, she's alive right now.
And to have that kind of blessing and to have like that, it's I couldn't even fathom anything like that with characters that I've portrayed, and just to have that kind of connection with that person.
Right,
huge,
right.
Huge.
It is. And, to have your hero or heroine, no, I don't know. But okay, we went there, okay. But, to have them acknowledge you, to say, yeah, you're doing right. This is good. I'm very proud, thank you. And I had spent the whole day with Joan in Minneapolis. So QVC noticed that all I bought was Joan Rivers jewelry. Because, again, if I'm going to be Joan Rivers, she wears her own stuff. And I mean, that's how she do that on QVC. Also, Joan was amazing when she was in public. Someone would come up and, oh, Joan, I love that necklace. You have that. She goes, here, because she had access to as many as she wanted. So she would give away her jewelry. And so they sent me an email, dear Terry Wanye Sanders, we noticed that you love Joan Rivers jewelry. Would you like to spend the day with her? Holy socks, yes. And so they said, okay, here's what I do. Fill out the form. And so I flew up to Minneapolis, and I got to spend 12 hours here from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with Joan Rivers. And so this was exciting because not only did she write to me and said nice things, now we're doing this right here, the one-on-one. And of course, there was a group of about, 17 of us in total that got to be with Joan for the day. And so we got to see her early in the morning. She had arrived there, and then she went to the mall. They had this QVC kiosk, and so she was going through all the new jewelry and talking to all the select people right there. And then we had later in the day, about 10 o'clock, a fashion show. And very interesting, very fun to watch her work the audience. And then, of course, lunch. They had a little lovely luncheon. Then we took a little break so she could go get refreshed, So, no, that was later. But yeah, because again, and you're thinking, this woman at this point, she was already, this was 2009. And so, so she's already, mid-late 70s and still just, going constant, this energy ball.
Wow.
And so then that afternoon, we got together, did some more things together. Then we had, of course, dinner together. And of course, then she was able to really relax, have the wine, questions one-on-one. And of course, she also had some books, 2 new books out. So we're having her sign our books. While I'm in line, because we all lined up, okay, had the nice dinner, okay. And so this film crew, I've been noticing all day long, and they're like, all right, we noticed that you're a man and that you're here. What is the interest with Joan Rivers? Why are you here? I said, well, I've been a big fan, told them like I've told you my life story with her. And I said, also, this is me. And I hold up a picture of me dressed as Joan. And they're like, what? I said, yes. I said, I'm from Branson, Missouri, and I impersonate Joan Rivers. They're like, oh, my gosh. And so this is when I got, those autographs, the one of which says, Dear Terry, I wish I had your legs. Love, Joan Rivers.
Ah, yes.
And so come to find out, this was that documentary that they were making about Joan Rivers. And so if you watch that movie, the documentary, at the last 15-minute mark, you will see me, and they do that footage of me. This is me with the picture right here about Joan.
Wow.
Oh.
So it came the full circle, but she and I were able to talk, and I was able to say thank you for the phone calls to Mom, the letters, loving my brother, all that stuff, And so it was wonderful to realize that, you're doing the right things. We even had fashion tips. I said, what do you suggest? What do you think? She goes, black, accessorize black, anything goes with black, But it was just wonderful. So to have someone like Joan, the caliber of her, to spend time, extra time with me, that just brought it all home.
And you don't really see that side of her, because her onstage persona is pretty raucous.
Right.
So how do you find the line in Branson where you can use some of her material, blend in some of your own, and make it family friendly, but still hint at the fact of
who she is? Oh, absolutely. That's what's been my great training in Branson. We know the line. We know the line. Here's as far as we can go. Now, over the years, has the line moved? Oh, my goodness, yes. Now, what's also interesting about that, every comedian is different. All of us, we're funny guys, but we're different in a funny way, or a different way. And so I've seen some comedians here in town who go way over there. But their character allows them to do that, okay? Now, for Joan, we know, like you say, she was on stage, oh, boy. And so I skate around that, but yet still keeping the essence of her. Now, some of my lines that are actually hers, I go to a certain point with that line so the audience doesn't get, offended or whatever. And that's what you do. You also have to gauge that. How far can I go? How far, what's the audience like now? Because this is a much different audience than it was 43 years ago. And so we're able to allow that. And it's also interesting, too, like, say, the difference between comedians. I've been here before, and I've seen major stars come in. Tim Conway and, of course, Harvey Korman at the Palace, the Grand Palace, up there doing their stuff, cussing like sailors, and the audience ate it up. But you know what? They're stars. They're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Okay, we're just Bransonites, but, we're doing our job. So, yeah. But you know your position, you know where you're supposed to be. Now, how do you know that you've gone too far? Instantaneous. If that audience is dead, or if you hear a gasp, or you see people stand up, walking out, I've blown it. I have blown it. Or booing. Oh, boo. Now, sometimes you get good boos and sometimes you get bad boos. Okay, hey, boo-boo. So you have to watch the audience and read, because I also like a groaner every now and then. Now, what's a groaner? Good question. That's when you do a joke that you know is going to get a groan. It's not a guffaw, not a... It is like, groan.
Yeah, I think my favorite groaner that you tell is at my expense.
Oh, yes.
When I leave the stage and I say, and you say,
oh, yes, C.J. Newsom, the best female singer in her price range. Yeah. boom. So, because they love you, and they're like, yeah. So, but then they also say, that's Joan being funny.
It's what the 275 gets us.
There you go. Exactly right. So yeah, so that's how you learn that right there, and you hopefully you learn. Some people never learn. Joan was talking about that too, about comedians, how they never change their material. They're still doing lines about Richard Nixon. He's been gone for how long?
Yeah.
Who's the newest person in office, or who's the person? That's how you do that. You stay current. You got a good joke. How can I make it contemporary?
Right.
Well, here's how you do that. And so that's what I try to do also. What's going on, that type of thing, and then boom.
So between this and you do Silver Dollar City, you have your Airbnb, you have so many different side things. You're so busy. 8
jobs right now, and it's a juggling thing, as you guys well know too, because now you get to perform to begin with, but also you are what they call a swing person. So you got to be ready and prepared, and that's what you do. How come your voice is so tired? Because I was practicing last night because I'm going to be in the show today. Blah 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 blah. And same thing with me. I never, ever want to be bored, and I never have been.
Right.
In college, I had this professor, I mentioned him earlier, Howard Orms, and he says, all right, Terry, you want to be a star? I said, no, Howard, I want to be a working actor. That's what it's going to take right there. You get those jobs. You keep getting those jobs. Don't turn down anything. You keep working because it's a fickle business. One day you're a hot snot. The next day you're cold boogers. Okay? So I'm like, okay, Howard. And so I have taken that literally to heart because I want to be a working actor. I've got bills like everybody else, but also we know how lucky we are. There are 1,000 people behind each one of us who would give anything to be where we are right now. And so I know I've got to stay on top of my game, and I'm not trying to keep them back. I'm just trying to say I've got to take care of myself,
Yeah.
Now, do we help others along the way? Oh, absolutely. When kids come up, how do I get started? What do you do here? How do you do that? Help them, because that's what this business is about. It's not about me. It's about us doing what we do, inspiring that next generation and the next generation. That's what you do. And so I took what Howard said to heart, and so now we've got Silver Dollar City, 43 years. We've got Shepherd of the Hills Play on and off for 21 years. We got C.J. Newsom, 6 wonderful years, and I am so thrilled. I've been with some great people in this town, but over the 43 years, this has been the best working relationship. She and Chris take care of me. They take care of my family on so many different levels. And we talk. And that's the best thing because we don't have the egos. We all just say, okay, here's what we got to do. And we do it. And that's why I love where I'm at right now. Let's see what else we got going. Big Cedar Lodge. I love Big Cedar Lodge. Been there for, 17 years. Started out doing like the wagon rides over there, have a big barbecue down there by the lake and all that. We do shows with them. As a matter of fact, I would host a show at the Not So Newlywed Game as Joan Rivers, of course. And then right now I write and produce all the big shows. So you've got Memorial Day, you got 4th of July, you got Labor Day coming up. We've got Christmas coming up, so I get to play characters for that. I get to hire the bands. We have flyovers with parachutists coming out of the plane, and they're here. They've got the American flag. They land right there in front of us. It's just exciting, like you guys know, because we're now producers as well. We're not just performers, producers. So it's a great way to stay in the business, but also to expand our knowledge to also grow and have a good reputation. And that's what I love. Christmas at Big Cedar. I get to be the Grinch. My goodness, hello, Merry Grinchmas yourself. And so what fun to do characters that people know. Kids, oh my gosh. And it's 50-50 with the kids on the Grinch. Some love him and some are petrified. Oh. And you got to know the line. If I see small children there and you see them doing this, I go, right up to their and I'm just kidding. A couple I did because they were asking for it. Anyway, but that's it. That's exciting to do that. So now what else we got? Let's see. Oh, Little Hacienda. Ask me how much, Terry, how much do you like to work?
How much do you like to work?
I'm so glad you asked. Here's how much. On my lunch break at Silver Dollar City, I work for Little Hacienda. Every Tuesday, it's called Taco Tuesday. I go on my lunch break. I get in my car, Pearl. We drive to 4 locations that the Little Hacienda people own. And so I do this live, Facebook Live right there with me. Hey, it's me, Terry Wanye Sanders, and today, dollar tacos at the drive-up window only for Little Hacienda. So that's how much, and I go back to Silver City, finish out my job there, and go do another job.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, Matthew's right. Fun. You are the hardest working comedian in Branson, but I mean, you were one of the hardest workers in town. But I think our viewers want to hear a little bit about your personal life.
Okay.
How do you separate the work from the personal? I mean, we want to know.
Oh, sure. And it's a balancing. Some people don't want anyone to know your personal life. I've always been an open book. I work and I work and I work and I meet people and, this is my girlfriend now, this is my wife right now, and all that. So whenever I came to Branson in 1980, all right, 1980, single man, oh my gosh. And so 1984, I was with a group called the Wilkinson Brothers, okay? And so next door to the Wilkinson Brothers Theater, there was this building being built. It was an unusual design. I'm realizing, oh my gosh, it's a Pizza Hut. Whoa, that is the Cadillac of pizzas. Not like New York, because good pizza right there, but
I love
Cadillac.
a good Pizza Hut.
There you go, a good one, that's right. And so they open up the doors, I walk in there's this cute little blonde girl, oh my gosh, and just personality plus, and we're kind of talking, but she was kind of distant at first. Come to find out later on after we talked more and more, she had just had a relationship with a younger man. She thought I was younger than her, because God said, here, let's give him some good genes for a while, then we're going to just turn it around. Anyway, so yeah. And so we started talking, and we had so many things in common. And so you talk more and more. And so for 6 nights a week, for several months in a row, I ate Pizza Hut. Hello. And finally, Dee Dee, this beautiful girl, Dee Dee Edwards, she said, I bet you like a home-cooked meal. I said, I would love that. Now, also, in that thought, knowing this young lady, I thought, well, you know what? Let's find out, because my mom, Barbara Jean, was the greatest cook in the world. So let's find out how good this girl is on cooking. And so sure enough, after the show with the Wilkinson Brothers, I went over to her apartment. She had, oh my gosh, pot roast with the carrots, the celery, the onions, all that stuff, big salad, corn on the cob, bottle of Riunite Lambrusco, and then cherry cheesecake. I said, holy socks.
Wow.
I knew right then, this is the one. Now, afraid of commitments, because, I'd seen some friends who had divorces, there were some divorces in the family, and so we dated for 4 years. But finally, after 4 years, we said, this is it. You know what? We're now both almost 28 years of age. This is going to be the one. And we were going to be smart. We were going to go down to Eureka Springs for 3 days, because we work a lot. So we're going to save money. We'll get the Justice of the Peace. We'll get married down there, have a great time. Come back, we're going back to work. And then I said, no, Dee Dee, we have waited for this moment to find the right person. Let's do this right. So we ended up going to Hawaii, had the best time ever. Oh my gosh. And so, and of course, part of the deal was no kids. We were going to spend all this money that we're making on each other. We're going to go on these exotic trips. We're going to go to Europe. We're going to go, it's going to be exciting. The pyramids. We're going to do England, Scotland. And then Dee Dee turned 30. And oh my gosh, worst day of her life. She called everybody. Now, we had a landline. Some people don't know what the landline is. I do. Now, if you call anywhere outside of Branson, it's long distance. That cost. And she is just drinking wine and calling everyone she ever knew. The biggest phone bill we've ever had in our lives. And, and I said, now, Dee Dee, honey, calm down. You've got me. Thanks, I feel great. I said, what would make you happy? Because as a husband, that's your goal. How do I make my wife happy? Because if mommy's happy, everybody's happy. She says, I want a baby. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we go to the doctor. And the doctor says, you're healthy, you're young still. So you know what? It's going to be probably a while. It could be maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know, but it will take a while. Well, we come home, and about 30 minutes later, she's with child. Okay, do you understand what I just said here?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And so that's how God works. And you know what? To me, everything that we do is a God thing. We are all in these positions. You're in New York. You're doing all these things. All of a sudden, you're in Branson. Same thing. You're over here, in Rogersville. All of a sudden, you're in Branson. This is all for a reason. That's why we're here right now, this very moment, sharing all this stuff, because God said this is what we have to do. And so we took all the classes, all that, Then come December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Oh, my gosh. Talk about dropping a bomb. We did it. Here comes Austin Cole Sanders. Oh, my. First baby on either side of the family for years and years and years. This is very exciting. Now, I'm in the business. I'm excited. I have a beautiful wife. And at that time, Dee Dee was very well known. She was she was a local, so everyone knew her. And so I said, this is part of my life. Homer Lee really is me. Terry Wanye Sanders just amplified, okay?
Sure.
Rang it up there. But I talk about my real life, my real wife, my real kids, all those things. And so it's all been incorporated. So 1 month later, after Austin was born, January, we were on the Brashler Music Show bus going down to Texas. And we have Austin with us. Dee Dee's right here. We do road shows, and I bring out my son to introduce him to the world. And, of course, you have no idea what it means to other people. The audience has known me for many years as Homer Lee. All of a sudden, here he is now with this baby. He let me hold his baby. Look at this. We received what you call a receiving blanket. People made homemade quilts for Austin. There was 43 of them. 43 quilts.
Wow.
And so we would take pictures of Austin on those quilts, send them the pictures, say thank you so much, and then we would re-gift those blankets because you know what? There are people who deserve something. There was a couple that we kept that were really special. So yeah, and so that's how our lives have been. Now fast forward. 5 years later, here comes baby number 2. And it took us a while to get there. During the 2 births, Austin in 1990, Evan James in 1995, we had a couple miscarriages. That's part of life too. This is not, just because we're on stage doesn't mean we have a perfect life, that everything's going to be wonderful. We are like everybody else. And of course, we said this is a God thing. It was not meant to be. And so we are so thankful for what we have right there. Now, Austin, he was impressed with a young man at the Brashler Music Show. His name was Justin Bertoli. And so Justin was a fiddler. Well, at the age of 4, Austin says, I want to fiddle, Daddy. So we got him hooked up with the Haygoods. Who knows about fiddling? The Haygoods do. That's right there. And so we started taking lessons from them. Well, then they got too busy, but they said, hey, we want you guys to go to our teacher, Mr. J.R. Rollins over here in Hollister. So Austin furthered himself, learning how to do the fiddle, all that stuff right there. Fast forward. Now, Austin would always enter all of the old-time fiddlers contests downtown Branson. Well, the committee down there said, you got a cute little boy there, and he's really cute when he plays that fiddle. Can we put him on this circuit where they're going to get some interviews, some phone calls, things like that? Is that okay? We said, why, sure. So every day we're getting phone calls. We had to go do some personal appearances, go up to St. Louis, get on TV over there, go here, like you say, Tulsa, things like that. A man called one day, he's a freelance writer, wrote this wonderful article because Austin absolutely loved Star Wars. And he could play the Star Wars theme song on a fiddle. On a fiddle.
Wow.
Not a violin, a fiddle. And you know what the difference is? $2,000, that's all. Anyway, so he wrote this article that was published through USA Today newspaper. And when that hit the presses, boom, our phone rang. Rosie O'Donnell had a TV show. They called up. They want Austin on there. Jay Leno. The list goes on. Donnie Marie had a talk show. All these people, but the best offer came from Martin Short. He had just had been offered a new job. He's going to have his own talk show. This is going to be exciting. So we took that offer, flew to Los Angeles. Austin and I had the best time. Martin was wonderful. Austin was just on top of his game. Now, the bad thing about that was whenever you play a song that is well known, written by someone of fame, they want what's called residuals. And of course, he had a brand new show, Martin Short. So they said our budget's. So can you play something that would be public domain? So we did. Boil Them Cabbage Down, but the kids stole the show. Austin stole the show because he didn't really so like you're supposed to. He goes, hey, band, do you want to hear a little bit faster? Sure. Bum, 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 bum. Because he was also known to be misspeeding lightning. So, yes. So, yeah, and so he evolved from that. Now, we learned a lot from the fiddling thing. Whenever Austin got into high school, we found out that fiddles are not cool, but electric guitars are. So Austin ended up creating about 3 different bands, of course, and he had a big influence of heavy metal, big heavy metal thing right there. So, and then of course, Evan followed suit. So he did some drumming and all of that. But Austin was the one who really shined with the music. And you never know what's going to happen. He toured, Austin and his bands toured throughout the Midwest, had a grand time with all that there. So, yeah, you pray, you hope you do all the right things, as you are instrumental in your kids' lives.
They seem to handle everything really well. I mean, how did they handle their dad being a famous comedian in town, and how was that?
Funny. They grew up watching me and all of our friends who were also in the business. Their best friends were the Milnes boys, which would be Wayne Milnes, the guy I talked about earlier, who was the premier comedian of all comedians. And so they just took this for granted that everybody, and so they would talk to their friends, what does your dad do? Oh, he's a doctor. Oh, that's too bad. You know, it's like, exactly. My dad's a comedian. Now, also, I can use that to my advantage. I always warned the boys. I said, you will be good. Your name means something. It's called a reputation. Who you hang with, it's called a reputation. Good, bad, whatever. I said, now look, if I ever get a phone call from the school that says you've been acting up, I will come down there and I will take care of business. But let me tell you what, boys, I will be coming down there dressed as Joan Rivers. So, you know what? The phone never rang.
Oh, I bet.
The phone never rang.
That's one way to take care of it, I suppose.
But, you know, it's been great because being in the business, I want them to be with me. And we work so much, as you guys know, too. You want to be with your kids as much as you can. And I always told the boys, it's going to be quality time, not quantity. Tick-tock, tick-tock, it's going to be quality. Yeah. So I have no bad memories of our boys growing up with us. It's always been the best. I was blessed and still am on the Vacation Channel, another one of my many jobs, right? And so early on, the boys got to film several episodes of the Vacation Channel with me. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a dream come true. A dream come true because I'm having fun with my boys. They're dressed up like Terry the Tour Guide, just like me because they're Terry the Tour Guide wannabes, okay? And so we're doing all this. And, of course, there's nothing more wonderful than laughter to begin with, but laughter of a child. Whenever you hear a kid laugh, oh my gosh. And so purposely, we would do doing a take, and I would do things to make them laugh. And I remember, and we've got this on an outtake reel, Austin howling and tears running down his face. Dad, stop it. You're making me laugh. I can't do my line. And so I treasure those moments. Now, fast forward a little bit. Now, we talk about Shepherd of the Hills. Yeah. Evan, the other night, this is just last week, Evan and I are in the same scene. I'm playing Doc, the guy that goes, well, what would Sarah and the girls say? And Evan is playing young Matt, the hunk of the show. And he got that from his father. Anyway, and so the looks, the chisels, you know. And so it was the funniest thing. CJ and Matthew were doing this scene. And, of course, we're in character. But all of a sudden, that moment, Evan and I, we've always had a great bond, just like Austin and I have a great bond. And I remember looking right now, just like I'm looking at you. And all of a sudden, for a split second, that's all it was. Evan looked at me as my son, looking at his father, and I'm looking at my son as if he is my son, which he is because we had the blood test. But anyway, we both had that moment where we go, this is the greatest moment right here ever. We're working together. Those people over there are loving us, and we're doing this right here. Wow, wow. And then boom, we're back into the scene. And so that's the reward. Yeah. I mean, we get paid, we have a good time, but to have that joy, that no one can ever take that from you.
You can't beat that, and that's the beautiful part about Branson.
Yeah, right.
Because you get to work with your family. You have wonderful opportunities like that. But, you know, life sometimes brings us curves and twists.
Absolutely. You never know.
As a comedian, it's not all fun and games, I know.
No, not at all. You know, because we have a real life. You know, on stage they see one thing, off stage we have another. My journey, like I said, is an open book. When my mom got cancer, you know, people were with me on that journey right there. And how's your mom doing? And well, we're okay and all that. And so whenever we lost my mom, she was my best fan, the number one fan. Everything I ever did, she was right there for me. Everything happens for a reason, okay? Everything happens for a reason. I met this amazing girl who reminds me of my mother, Barbara Jean, in so many ways. Great person. We get married in 1988. Then very next year, I get the opportunity. The producer and director of Hee Haw came to Branson looking for new blood. Yes. Oh, my gosh. They saw me at the Brashers. They saw me at Silver Dollar. They left a note at the Brasher Theater. Terry called this number. I call him up. He said, well, if you don't mind, in 2 weeks, we're going to fly you down to Nashville, Tennessee. We want you to be the next star of the Hee Haw show. We're going to do about 13 episodes. So thank you so much. Good. So there you go. So now I do that. I've got success. In my mother's eye, and again, you want to please your mom, your dad, everybody. I married a beautiful girl, wonderful person. Got this job on, at that time, the longest running variety show in TV history, 25 years. Oh, my gosh. Okay. And then the very next year, 1990, we became parents. And so these three amazing things happened. 1991, about 7 months later, July 2nd, my mother dies of cancer. And so you're devastated. You're trying to do it, and I've got to work, and you got to do that. But the people that know me and that are followers who come to see our show repeatedly, they're there. Whenever you have weak moments, and you do, it's okay. You got it, man. that's what you do. You work your way through your grief. You work them into your routine. I had some material I used for a long time about my mom and her shopping habits and all that. And so that's what you do. Now you fast forward, and to me, everything that happens, it's stair steps, because this will help you with this. This block is going to go on this block because we're building up here to what we have to do. And we have to do that. We are ones who never say never. We're going to get through this. And so I grew up, I remember the funerals that we would go to. Oh, mournful. Oh, my gosh. Oh, wailing, beating on the casket. And no, God, take me. God, take me. Why? I learned early on, I don't want that. I don't like that at all. As a kid, that really also kind of scars you, It's good to grieve. You've got to grieve. Don't hold it in. Get it out. Do what you got to do. But with my mother's passing, and then, of course, my brother. 5 years later, we learned it's a celebration. Don't think about that death. Think about the life and the legacy they left.
Yes.
Wow. And so we have these great celebrations. So fast forward. Let's go to January 11th. Me, you, and Chris Newsom, your wonderful husband, are in Omaha, Nebraska for the ABA. Oh, my gosh. The American Bus Association convention. We're going to promote our show. And we had a great day. I will never forget. I've gone through pictures of that earlier that day. We're at the convention center and we're posing. We're having a great time. It's bitter cold. It's winter time, January 11th. And so we do our deal with the ABA, then we go out and have Mexican food. Had a great meal right there. And we're all like, man, I am so tired. I'm so tired. And I'm tired. So we got the shuttle bus, we get back, and as we're pulling up to the hotel, I remember us looking, look at that moon. That is the most beautiful moon I've ever seen. And then I remembered, I think it's what they call a blood moon, something like that. Because I remember, and I tried to take a picture. It wasn't a great picture, but I thought, man, just do that. We get into the room. It's now 7 o'clock, and we're all just, I'm going to bed, you guys. I'm sorry. We're going to bed. And, of course, being on the budget, we share the room, okay? Now, again, I worry about people. I always keep my phone on. And so I've got it right there, charging right there, that little table between the two beds. And I'm thinking, I need to turn that off because it's going to flash. Because people, ping Terry. Hey, Terry, what time does Sarah said you open up tomorrow? Ping Terry, what, blah, blah, blah. And so I start to turn it off. And there was a presence over my left shoulder I will never forget. And I tried to, and the presence wouldn't let me. 3 times I tried to turn off that phone because I don't want to bother you guys. You're resting. We need a rest. We've got to be in our best game for the ABA. But 3 times. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave it on. 10:30 that night, we get a phone call. And I see it's Dee Dee. Oh, my gosh. Hey, honey, what's up? Mr. Sanders? Yes. This is the Taney County Sheriff's Department, and we're sorry to tell you your son, Austin, has been killed in a car wreck. Now, those are the words you never want to hear, ever. Any parent, ever. Now, my being, what I do what I call damage control. The switch clicked on, and so I just took the deep breath, and I said, okay, Lord, give me the strength now. And so, got the information, what time, where at, was he by himself, was there anyone else involved, all that stuff. Praise God, I'm with you and Chris. You have no idea what has gone on, but it's the worst. Chris gets on his phone right there, calls his dad, Vic. Dad, just start driving. And so I'm not allowing myself to let it hit. I'm allowing myself to focus. Okay, I've got to pack my things. I've got to get all my stuff together. And I've got to start planning out everything that we've got to do. This is going to be a pretty big deal for where we're at, for the family, the friends, and also all the fans who love us so much because he brought such joy to the world. So pack up everything. Chris gets me in his car. Man, we're driving. We met Vic just right there about Belton, Missouri, just right outside Kansas City. Transfer me from one car to the other, and I'm feeling bad because poor Chris, he's up all night, and this is horrible, and this, it's just the whole scenario, what's going to happen, what's going on. And so I get home, and of course we take care of business, talking to Dee Dee. We're grieving. We're trying to get that out. My aunt and uncle are there. We're just trying to make it all make sense. And how do you with this devastating news? And so we make the phone calls. And what was amazing, as we made the next day the posting on Facebook, it just blew up. And the love, the condolences, everything that you can imagine are right there. And so Green Lawn Funeral Home said, Terry, we're watching Facebook, and this is really big. We can't have a service or a celebration here You might talk with Chris. Chris says, we got it. We'll be right here at the Americana Theatre. Thank God. Well, God is wonderful. God is great. He made sure that the pipes froze and burst. So we could not have anything in this theater because you have regulations. If there's no water, you can't have a sprinkler system. And so our good friend, and you guys had talked to Clay Cooper that day, the next day, the 12th of January, saying, Terry lost his son. Austin is dead. And so, oh my gosh, well, he found out about the pipes. And so he calls up Terry, use my theater. Use my theater, man. You do whatever you want to. Buddy, we're here for you. Now, that speaks volumes of who he is and what we're all doing here, because we all realize the purpose. The day of the celebration. And again, I wrote out, here's what we're going to do. Austin was a wonderful young man. He was himself. He had certain ways that he did things. And so we talk. We are the Happy Sanders family. If you see my postings, we've always been the Happy Sanders family. And so we talk about everything. We talked about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We also talked about death. What do you want? What do you want? What do I want? And so he said, I don't want nothing sad. I want a party. I want to tell stories. I want there to be my kind of music. And I want there to be some celebrations with some libations. Because Austin was a beer specialist. He worked at Macadoodles for 3 years. He worked for Will Fisher in Springfield. He loved beer. He could tell you everything, the hops ratio. He could tell everything, the history of Pilsner beer. Anyway, so we said, okay. And so I wrote out what we're going to do, including some of his wit, his humor. So, yeah. And so we get over there for the celebration. 1,300 people are there. And you feel that love. You feel all that. Because many people, if their faith is not strong, if they allow grief to take over, they cannot do what you have to. And that's a difficult thing. It takes a lot of strength to do this. But I said, no, we are the Happy Sanders family. We made a promise to this young man. That's what we're going to do. And so we got up there and we talked about everything. And I also let people know what to expect. I said, if you're offended by colorful metaphors, please leave. We don't want to offend you. We love every one of you, all 1,300 of you. We love you. We don't want to offend anyone. If you are offended by the public consumption of alcohol, please leave, because you are so amazing. We don't want you to be offended. But this is not, and I love this point. I said, I want you all to know this is not about any of you. This is about this family promising this young man what we're going to do and doing that. You have to be a person of your word. And so we will honor him today. Not me, none of you. So there you go. Those are the rules. I said, now, Austin was a wonderful young man. He made you feel good. He made you feel like you were his best friend. He would tell you something funny. He'd teach you something. You'd learn something. He was so amazing. He had this ability to, just absorb information. If he met you and you had a topic he didn't know about, he would study about it. So next time he saw you, hey, how about, and boom. But also sometimes he'd do something to make you feel a little uncomfortable, kind of funny. And so we did all this. We told great stories at the right time. We had, of course, the toast with Foster's beer. That's right, Foster's from Australia. Good day, mate. That was his favorite because it was an oil can. Anyway, and so I said, now, Austin, as you know, his wishes were to be cremated. So let's do that. So we did. And so after the toast, I said, Evan James, I think it's time we bring out your brother. So here comes Evan with this beautiful box. Oh, my gosh, it's just beautiful. And so they get halfway across the stage, and the bottom falls out. And what appears to be the cremains of Austin, his brother, right there on the Clay Cooper stage. And the gasp from the audience, like we talked about a while ago, where's the line? The gasp. And of course, we're all through, you see, reacting to this. Oh, Clay, somebody, And then we stop and we look at the audience. And we smiled. And I said, remember what I told you about Austin? You're going to feel good. We're going to have a drink. We're going to say some colorful metaphors and stories. And then we're going to make you feel uncomfortable. Well, that wasn't Austin. He's not quite ready yet. So anyway, what we have done everything that we were supposed to do. And so you learn to deal with it the best you can, and you keep moving forward. And what's been amazing, CJ and Matthew, and this is the most paramount thing I can tell you, we all have a mission in life. It's not easy. Nowhere's a written life is easy. No. Keep moving forward. Honor those people who have gone before us because they're in a far better place. What I've learned to say now is whenever people are upset because so-and-so died, I always say, you know what? As each day passes, we're one day closer to being with them. Yes. Keep that in mind, because none of us are getting younger. We're getting older, closer toward death for ourselves. Yeah. And so that's been a great stepping stone right there. But also people who have already lost a child, maybe several years ago, they come up to us and they understand. And so there's this wonderful bond. We don't have to say much else after that. We just know. And now recently we've had a lot of friends who have lost a child. Here in Branson, Missouri, there were 3 young people who died tragically within 2.5 weeks. And so we've been able to reach out to them to let them know they're not alone. And so that's the mission, you guys. And for anybody listening to this podcast, this is not to be a downer. This is to say, man, get on top of your game. Talk to your family. Yeah. Get information. What do they want? Let's make them happy. Let's celebrate their lives, not the death. Let's celebrate that life because that's what it's about. Death took about 2 seconds, period. You know what? Let's look at what they've done, the body of work, and how their legacy can continue on by the way you present them to others.
That's right. Well, and there's a lot of people that want to support you. I mean, you know, look at at your loved ones, but not just your loved ones. I mean, all of our audience members and some of our podcasts, you know, our new viewers and such
Sure.
They want to reach out. That's what makes this so beautiful, really, is because as Branson stars, we are approachable.
Yes,
they want to reach out and they want to show their support and love.
Right. Yeah, and we get that. That's what's so nice, and that's what I love about Branson. I know that's probably why you guys are here as well. Yeah. We have choices. Do we want to be here? Do we want to go to Nashville? What are the opportunities? Los Angeles, that's crazy. New York, cray. Branson, look at this. People come to us. Now we get to tour. We get to do these shows here and there, and that's fine. But overall, we get to stay right here at this home base in our theater, the Americana Theatre, and do what we do. And not necessarily just at the Americana. All of us, we work other places, Grand Crown, places like that, Silver Dollar for you. And it's amazing what we do, where we're at. And so, we need to maintain what we do, that legacy of Branson where we are approachable. We can talk to anybody. We can come out there, press the flash, and then we've also developed some great relationships of people. Oh, my goodness. Not are they just fans, they're now friends. And some of those friends feel like family.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly right. So whenever we go through a bad time like we've gone through, they're there.
Yeah.
And now whenever they're going through a bad time, we're there.
That's right.
Now, I have to ask, what's your plan right now? You've been doing Branson for so long, Silver Dollar City, all these shows. What's next? What do you think is your goal? Do you want to continue these shows? Do you want to retire anytime soon?
Right.
What do you want to do? You want to enjoy some time to just see all these places you wanted to see?
Right. No, at 2:30 tonight, this afternoon, I quit. Everything done.
Perfect.
It's over. Yeah.
I'm glad we got this done now.
Well, I was in Chicago about a month ago. I bought a lottery ticket, and you know what? God is good. $1.337 billion, and it's gonna go to a good cause. No, what? He's the one. Anyway, and you always hope for that, And sure, I invested some money in all that, but no, you know what? We are so blessed. God has given me energy, and I love that. I'm 63 years of age. I still have my health. I get up every morning about 5 o'clock. I sleep on 5 hours of sleep, period. That's it. Even on my days off, a day off for me, sleep until 5:30. That's okay. So you know what? I want to continue what I'm doing as long as I can. Because I've got you, the next generation, right there. And I want to see what you're going to do. I want to be with you. You, Matthew, younger than both of us. And now look at you and look at what you're doing in such a short period of time. What, 2 years that you've been here, 2.5 years, where you're at. Because I remember when you first started, I thought, man, he's a flake. But no.
That's what Chris thought. But
hey. But you've grown. You've matured. Sort of. But no, really, how exciting. Because you're right, we're producing things now. We're doing all these things. Wow, we're on the cusp of this. And so if we can combine all of our experience with the age, the abilities, and also the creativity. And that's what it takes too. How do you reinvent the wheel in Branson? Well, we're working on it every day.
Yeah.
Right now, this podcast. How amazing for us to be together. And thank you for having me as a guest on this. I just don't understand why I wasn't asked to be a host. But no. But that's the whole thing. We laugh, we have fun, and we're going on. That's what you got to do, and that's my goal. I have no plans to ever retire. Now, I did promise the Hersham brothers 3 years ago at my 40th anniversary. I said I'm 60 years of age right now. I've given you 40 years of my life. I'm going to give you another 40, and at the age of 100, and that's what I will be now in about 37 years. I'll be 100 years of age. I'm going to go to a part-time position and save you money. So that's what I want to do. I want to just
It's generous
drop.
of you.
Oh, that's what you do. And one of my favorites, I have a lot of favorites, but George Burns, what a wonderful man he was and what a career he had. One of his, I'm going to steal his quote. He said, "I can't die. I'm booked."
Yeah.
How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
And so that's my attitude. I never think about what have I done today. I think, what have I got to do next? That motivates me every single day. What do I get to do next? Okay, that's what I got to do. So I can't be tired. I can't be sick. And you guys know that feeling too. You know, we have those days where, oh my gosh, I feel, ugh. But you know what? Homer Lee doesn't feel bad. Joan Rivers feels great for a dead woman. Come on, let's go on stage. And that's what you do. It's all attitude. So you know what? If we can leave anything today, attitude is everything. Move forward, move in a positive light, share your love and experience, and help others along the way, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because there are kids watching you right now, Matthew, going, wow, I want to be like that. I want to be Elvis. And they're doing it. And that's what inspired you, all of us.
Right.
That's what we're doing. So keep it up. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely. Guys, this is Terry Wanye Sanders right here, Branson, Missouri. Catch him Silver Dollar City and right here at the Americana Theatre 3 days a week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 8 o'clock in C.J. Newsom's Classic Country and Comedy. For more information on the show, www.americanatheatrebranson.com. Check out our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok for all you youngins out there watching. Of course, the podcast, Branson's Best Shows. Terry, thank you so much for coming on here today.
And you bet. And thank you for having me on here. And if anything, whenever you come to see CJ and I, it's not only about pure entertainment. It is about quality, it is about class, and it's about, show them out there. Here,
Oh,
here we go.
yes.
Look at this right there.
We coordinate.
Right there.
I,
You know what? Well, Matthew, work on
is
it.
high today.
Red, yeah. Yeah, because we are classy. We are classy.
We
Hello
are.
there.
We
Thank
are.
you so much.
Can't
Bye-bye,
beat it, really.
bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time here on Branson's Best Shows. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.